Hi everyone. Sorry, our internet got cut during construction on a freeway, and our cellular connection here is not doing so fantastic with a lot of other people utilizing the cell stuff because the internet is down. So our live got cut. I apologize. But as I was saying, I am Brooke. Most of you know me from this group, and this is my husband Jeff, and he is a LMSW CAADC certified alcohol addiction.
Certified Advanced Alcohol and Drug Counselor.
That's what he is. And he's a therapist, and he helps a lot of people. And we were talking about how this COVID-19 pandemic has really increased anxiety, and alcohol consumption is increasing by 75%. I read an article about how high the alcohol numbers are in sales, and it's just flying off the shelves, which is understandable with people being cooped up and anxious. And just kind of going over the details of all of that and how people in recovery handle meetings and isolation during this time. So you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you. As Brooke said, I'm Jeff. I am a therapist, a licensed master social worker, and certified addictions counselor. But first and foremost, I'm a person in long-term recovery. For me, that means I haven't had a drink or a drug or anything that can get you messed up since September 12th, 1997. And it was my own journey in recovery that led me to my professional career. And so what we're experiencing now, I don't think anybody in any career or many people on this planet have experienced anything like this. And so I've worked with psychotherapists, and I've worked with a lot of doctors, and I've heard that the number one reason people come in to see certain primary care physicians is anxiety. And so if we just take random numbers, say 6 out of 10 people have been living with anxiety prior to the pandemic. Now we're looking at something like 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 people are living with anxiety, and maybe not a diagnosis of anxiety, but just fear, uncertainty, and we don't know what's going on. Like one day I showed up, it was St. Patrick's Day, and I got the news that we're now ready to do therapy from home. Mm-hmm. And
which you have been, when Courtney and I were doing a live coaching, I was telling her how much you are the only one in the house that's good, working pajama bottoms and dressing professional on the way up, and then being in the basement and coming up, and love being home 24/7.
Yeah, it's kind of like the New Century's version of a mullet.
Yeah.
Business on top and
pajamas
party on the bottom. And so, and I hear from so many people things like this. I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. And unfortunately for many people, they know somebody who has contracted the virus, or they know a person who knows a person who's contracted the virus, and we even have friends who work at local hospital.
Yeah.
that are on the front line. So during a period like this, I would like to say this is what we've done in the past, but the truth is there is no in the past to refer to, unless anyone was around in 1918,
which they're not.
And so here's what anxiety is like. It's it's a feeling of I need to do everything that I've ever had to do, everything I've had to do for the week or the month or the year, and it's got to happen now. Or I might have a feeling like no matter where I am, I feel like I'm late to go somewhere. And although I can get to whatever place I think I'm going to, and then I'm late to go somewhere else. A feeling of, I mean, my favorite analogy is what it was like in one of my favorite movies, Star Wars, when they were in the garbage pit and the walls were closing in on them, and there's nothing they could do. So, and
I get the feeling of being late. That's my anxiety with all of this. Like, I have a client to call and it's coming up on 5 minutes, and I keep like I have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever the amount of time till I have to make a call to my client, and I'm struggling with everything's rushed. I'm running late, I'm running behind, and that's sort of how my anxiety is presenting lately.
And anxiousness is a perfectly natural thing. And so we keep getting these like sucker punch surprises. So here we're gonna like stay within 30 feet of each other, 10 feet of each other, 6 feet of each other, groups of 50, groups of 20, groups of 10. Well, you know, hey, just stay at home, except if you absolutely have to go out. And today we were visited by a local police department and helicopter to tell people to
go inside, because we live on a golf course, and people were golfing because it was 60 and sunny here in Michigan, and that's not allowed because the courses are closed. But we have a unique situation where our golf course is private. It's a residence. We all live on it. So we didn't realize being in the backyard on the golf course was going to be an issue. But apparently, thought it was a problem.
So Brooke, I'll ask you a question. What is the most abundant and incidentally the most underutilized anti-anxiety medication and antidepressant on the market?
Exercise?
That's right, it's exercise. And
we're on the video. Okay.
So
that's Paisley.
One of the equally abundant and probably more utilized anti-anxiety and antidepressant medications around is alcohol. And so if I am a person who's addicted to alcohol, chances are I've lived with anxiety for a good part of my life, and alcohol helped me feel normal and helped me calm down, talk to girls, ask them to get married, things like that. I was not drunk when I asked Brooke to marry me. So what we're seeing now in Michigan, almost every business is considered essential. Would you agree?
I mean, I guess, but like restaurant, I mean, no, I don't know, I guess.
Well, liquor stores
yes, are
still
essential.
Are still considered an essential business.
This is true.
And so a person who is having anxiety increased and feeling enclosed, and I personally have left the house like 4 times in the past 2 to 3 weeks, and then I say this very tongue-in-cheek that, you know, we wake up, we go, oh, it's you again, and we're with the same 4 to 5 people, and we never realized how much school takes energy out for our 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And so life is changing altogether, and in the beginning of this, I'll use myself as an example. I really regressed, and I was different, and I started living like a bachelor again. I'll just, hey, I'll throw clothes here. We won't do laundry. I'll sleep late.
Which threw my anxiety through the roof. Which also is, I am in recovery too. I think I've mentioned it in this group. And this whole stay-at-home order has been a huge transition for people in recovery and meetings, as far as like AA I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, 12-step meetings are concerned. So one of the amazing things that has happened is recovery meetings have all over the globe have gone up on Zoom. So you're having these Zoom rooms with AA meetings, and it's been really invaluable because it creates an every hour meeting for people. Although I think isolation is like the worst thing that can happen to an alcoholic, right? For recovering people that live alone, it can be very dangerous. So I am grateful, and I find it to be one of the good things that has come out of this is that there's this chance for this technology in AA meetings, in recovery meetings, and in just so people can connect, because I miss connecting with people and like laughing with my friends. And I have friends who are doing happy hours with their girlfriends, and and people doing recovery meetings. And then there's my 5-year-old had a FaceTime session with her little dance squad. We call them the four fabulous foursome. They had their little FaceTime, and our older daughter is like on, face connecting with people through the screen. So that is one thing I think has been invaluable for the current state of things. But I would, when you talk about increased alcohol consumption, you're talking about it's a real fine line. People who are already heavy drinkers or already prone to bad habits and that could be eating sugar, but obviously we're talking about just alcoholism and drug addiction here. But it's a fine line, right? Like it'll creep up on people, and before they know it, this will be over, and they have a real problem.
Right. And so I'm glad you brought that up. There are two things going on. We're being pulled towards negative behaviors. My point was that I began making poor health choices. I didn't eat right. I stopped drinking the amount of water that I usually do. Slept late, stayed up late, and that all culminates in something negative. And at the same time, we have social connections that are pulling us out of these bad habits. And I think like the founder of Zoom is going to get like a humanitarian award, like a Nobel Peace Prize or something, for keeping people connected, especially in states where we are told that we can go out for what's necessary, but you really should limit the amount of times you go out for what's necessary. And so yes, I think that isolation is bad for anybody, and when we're in a situation where we're regularly making poor choices, and we're just not getting out. And I think one of the poorest choices that I've made is to limit social contact, because it's going to drive me crazy, right? And so I like an old treatment for addiction. You can remember the word HALT. Don't get too hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. Treat my food in a certain way, and that means, okay, all right, sorry, she's filming a live video. So I'm not going to eat too much and make sure my food is of high quality. And when I take a look at social media and the news that I consume, I want that to be not too much and also of high quality. And I want to get to bed at a decent hour, wake up at a decent hour, and whether you are a person in recovery or you're wondering if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict, I think now is not the time. That's just my general thought. Now is not the time to try and test the boundaries on that. And I think avoiding alcohol, even if you don't think you have a problem with alcohol, is going to be a good idea. And because alcohol is what happens. I drink it, I feel less anxious, I feel less depressed, and then I might do something stupid. In my case, I would usually do that, and I wake up the next morning, and everything that I was trying to cover up with alcohol or drugs is there, and it's there worse. And now I have that to deal with, plus what did I say and to whom did I say it? And so I think living with a health coach has been great for me, to look at the ways I'm putting obstacles in my way towards gaining health. And I just want to mention that right now I've been doing more therapy than I've done in the past 3 years. Yeah. And Rivers Bend, who's my employer, is offering telehealth sessions as well as telemedicine psychiatry. And I think it's going to be needed as all of this starts to settle in. So those are my thoughts.
That's great. Dig 'em. And I will say, in terms of the reason I decided to ask the hubster to come on with me is because I have noticed he normally works long hours anyways. You work quite a bit because he's a very caring individual and he helps a lot of people. I'm shocked at how much he actually is working now. It's like triple the amount. I mean, it's like all day from morning until 9 at night. It's really intensified the amount of clients and sessions and things like that, which goes to show why we started this group, the Scene Interconnection, because people are anxious, people are afraid, people are utilizing bad habits that they shouldn't be partaking in, and they are just sort of stuck in this space of the unknown. And a lot of fear comes from the unknown. And so I thought it would be a good idea to have him on, and it was very professional. I don't normally hear you talk so professional. So that's kind of fun.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested in or knows anybody who is in need of some help, they're feeling anxious, they're feeling depressed, scared, please feel free to get in touch with me through this site.
You can message me, or I'll put the link to his email. Right? You want me to do that? Put a link to you underneath. And anyone who needs to reach out that needs help, maybe struggling with anxiety. You do couples therapy too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anybody...
Don't kill your spouse while you're home in quarantine. Don't kill them, right?
Right, but that would not be a good idea. Anybody who's feeling cooped up, sick of seeing the same people, sick of hearing the same news, struggling with addiction, wondering about addiction, struggling with any type of life distress, I think this is something that I think it's something that everybody needs, and I think especially at a time like this.
I agree. And real quick, I want to touch on while I have him on here, because we always talk about this in coaching, but you as a therapist, right? If I have a client who has co-occurring disorders or like has underlying mental health issues that I am not capable of diagnosing in any capacity, do you work with health coaches, or you would be willing to work with health coaches to have a well-rounded
Yes.
support system for clients, right?
Yes. I think health coaching is what we've always needed as professional therapists. They're a very welcome member to the team.
Sorry, Paisley keeps making a cameo into the video, but this is real life. You got our dog, you got our kid. This is how we roll.
And so, in a typical, imagine 16 or however long I'm awake, that many hours of, please, I can only take the dog for so many walks. I can only throw the ball so many times. I can only color so many pictures.
Yeah.
I think life in general has been intensified as a result of social distancing.
Yeah. I feel good with you. I feel like we're on the same team. Anyways, thank you for checking this video out, and I will put Jeff's stuff links in the bottom of this video, and we will probably maybe bring him on again because he's pretty smart. He knows his stuff, and he's kind of a big deal. So we'll see you guys later. Bye.